Welcome back to Madam Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where, of course, yesterday we had a lovely visit to Rachel's Island of Camor, and today is nothing of that sort. It's just another Monday, to be honest, on Fawnhollow. But we have a new visitor moving in, whose name I can remember. His name is Flip, and I believe he's a monkey. I don't know which monkey he is, but I believe he's one of them. But the monkey villages I don't know particularly well off the top of my head, because I've never had any of them, but this is exciting. Actually, no, we had Delhi before, didn't we? I forgot. I actually completely forgot we had Delhi as one of our villages, as one of our OG villages. Well, not OG, but one of the first to move in. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 4:24 PM on Monday, March 15th, 2021. Now for today's announcements, we have a new friend on our island. Let's give a big Fawnhollow welcome to Flip. It makes me so happy to have a new friend on this island, and with that, I'll get back to your work supporting you and your enjoyment of our island. Yeah, we've got Flip. It's March 15th. You know what that means? Actually, it means a lot of things, you know. It was a friend back in secondary school's birthday. Do I talk to him anymore? Nope. So, happy birthday to him out there, I guess. Oh, no, it wasn't a friend. It was a brother of a friend I still sometimes talk to. So, you know, there we go. Happy birthday to that brother. It's also the day after Pi Day, and in the UK it was Mother's Day yesterday. So, I hope you all wished your mother well. If you're from UK, if you're not from UK, fair enough. You got... I don't know when your Mother's Day is in America, but still, it's like a month later or something. I don't know why it's different, but you know, it just is. That's just the way it is. Yesterday, yeah, it was also Pi Day. You know, 3.14 March 14th and all that. So I hope you celebrated on. Let me think. 3.14159. 3.14159. Okay, well, there's no 92 seconds, so I guess. No. 9 past 3 PM, you all celebrated Pi Day on that day. Did I? Nope, I forgot, to be honest. But yeah, I know. And Pi Day is just one of those random holidays that people like to have just for the funsies, you know. It's not really steeped in tradition so much as it is more steeped in I don't know, a pun, I guess, if anything. Wait, which one did we get rid of? This one? There we go. More of a pun, if anything, like Star Wars Day being like May the 4th be with you. Oh, hold on, let's go say hi to Flip. I think he... I'm trying to think which one he is. I'm pretty sure he's a monkey. I just can't remember. You know what I can picture is Simon. But he's not Simon, obviously. He's not Dally. Oh, he's this one. He's the jock monkey. Isn't he? Hey, do you live on... No, he sounds like a lazy one. Hey, do you live on this island too? My name's Flip. Just moved to Fawnhollow today, if you couldn't tell. If someone as totally ripped as you lived here, I know you's jog. And this is definitely right island for me. I hereby officially recognise you as a legit rival. May the buffest bird win, re-rack. You seem to have a spring blossom theme going on in your house. That's quite cute, not gonna lie. You're unfortunately in the winter part of the island, but still. Yeah, I don't know, Pi Day yesterday, you meant to like eat a pie or something? I don't know, is there a tradition you're meant to do on Pi Day? I can't really be sure. But hold on, I got into that because it was on like the front page of Reddit. There's this video of some guy in like a guy from London in their podcast or something talking about wind turbines and how he thought they were just giant fans cooling down the earth or something, rather than being a source of renewable energy. You know, using the kinetic energy supplied by the wind to spin these blades, which I can't remember exactly how it works off the top of my head. I used to know how this works because someone came in and talked about wind turbines to us back in secondary school. It was one of the driest talks I've ever been to because, you know, you're talking to like a bunch of how old are we? Let me think. 16-year-olds or something about renewable energy, which, yes, something very important and something which should be considered and is very important, of course, to preservation of society and that sort of thing. But they went a lot into like a very boring talk behind it, I suppose, which unfortunately did not really capture our young adult minds particularly well. You kind of need something more engaging for that sort of thing, I'd imagine. So unfortunate to them. They were very clever, obviously, but we just could not quite get the attention of all these kids through only the means of talking about a wind turbine. But yeah, anyway, it wasn't really what I was meant to be going on about. Yeah. What was it? It spins a coil. It's probably something to do with like magnets and coils or something that induces current, you know, motor rule or motor law, whatever it's called. I honestly forgot. It's been quite a while since I had to think about it. Fleming's left-hand rule, right-hand motor rule, that sort of thing. I think it's right-hand motor rule, right? That's the one about inducing currents. Anyway, not really a point. That's what wind turbines are for, if you didn't know. Renewable way of harnessing wind energy to convert into electrical energy. I should have checked to see if we had a vista on the town square, but I was too excited to go run away and do something else. Wait, did we check our... We might not have checked our orange flowers either. We didn't. Oh my god. Disaster. Yeah. Yeah, he thought like wind turbines were just giant fans or whatever, which called them down the earth. Which obviously, the initial reaction to that is hilarious. If you know what wind turbines are, I suppose. Yeah, that's quite critical knowledge. You probably don't find it quite funny because that sort of sounds absurd. Someone who I suppose has been taught about wind turbines, I guess, and all that sort of jazz. But when I thought about it a bit more, and I was like, obviously it's not. Obviously, it's something that if you put under strong consideration, you're like, no, it doesn't really work. But I suppose my point of consideration was you kind of need a bit of education behind it to really like properly think about it. And not only the education, you need to actually put time into thinking about it, like just in lieu of absolutely nothing. Because we're always learning things all the time about the world, It's quite hard to, know everything from the moment you're born, unless you're, I don't know, you've been reincarnated or something, and you were a literal encyclopedia in your previous life or something like that. But still, I was like, you got to be taught these things at some point, And if you're never taught those things, you'll just never know them, right? So the fact that he didn't know exactly how wind turbines work, I feel like, well, initially, once you get over the point of laughing at the absurdity of it, it shouldn't really be a point of derision or anything like that, should it? Like, how else is he going to learn about it without, asking or finding out about it in some way or another, Someone has to teach him, or tell him at some point, or he has to learn for himself, or think about it. But it's not, like, so easy to do that just, like, off the cuff, There's a lot of things which probably right now, which you probably take for granted as just being factually correct. But have you actually really stopped to think about, if it's actually correct or not? If that's really how things work, or really if it's something you just taken for granted or assumed to be correct this entire time. I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that. I mean, it's like kind of, if everyone had to stop and think about literally every single thing they've ever thought about before in life, we probably wouldn't really get very far as a society or anything along those sort of lines. But what I'm saying basically is what it boils down to, and how many other ways can I try to say surmises in one phrase, is that it's a process of constantly learning. And to be fair, this guy was a real good sport about it. He like laughed it off. He like checked on his phone because he was like, really? Oh, I see, kind of over there. And they had a good laugh about it with his friends, that sort of thing. And he accepted he was wrong and learned from it, which is, I honestly think that's pretty admirable. Even more admirable than the fact that he didn't know about how wind turbines worked in the first place. Because it's one thing to be smart, but being smart is something you can teach yourself, I suppose. There's another thing to be humble, to be accepting, and to be open to not only criticism, but looking stupid and learning from it, and becoming a better person as a cause of that. I don't know why I put plants of this here, which is not always the easiest for some people to do, especially if I'm just calling it out because I probably was this kid when I was younger, but when you're known for being smart, you don't like to admit when you're wrong, that sort of thing. And I think that's something we should all aspire to be like, just being able to be like, hey, I was wrong. I had this preconceived notion. Whether it was stupid or whether it was reasonable, I think should be irrelevant to the matter, I suppose, because you don't. Okay, and I suppose there's caveats to that, but on the whole, like things like this, like wind turbines, you don't really think about wind turbines on a daily basis, and then maybe like, obviously, we were taught like in, I don't know, geography class or something, maybe about how wind turbines work, or at least conceptually that they, not maybe how they work, but how they conceptually turn wind energy into electricity or what they're used for. But of course, I mean, maybe you missed that day in school, maybe you're like, you were never taught it in school, maybe you misunderstood it and you never really thought about it again, or maybe you learnt it wrong and then you just never thought about it again. It's like wind turbines, not really something which come up or is particularly relevant to you unless you're perhaps like a not conversationist, conservationist. Is that the word? I don't know. There's someone who basically works with with renewable energy and that sort of thing, and these green sources. So yeah, I mean, you can't really blame yourself if it never really comes up into your mind. So this guy, maybe like he missed that day in school, and he's never really thought about wind turbines since then. It's just sort of been a thing which he's automatically thinks when he sees them. It's like, oh yeah, these wind turbines are just there to cool down like the ocean, you know, to help stop global warming. And it's been completely fine because he's never really been quizzed on it, you know. I mean, it's not like, I don't know what his job is, I don't know any of his background. I suppose I'm making a lot of assumptions about him here, which I probably shouldn't be doing, but I was saying, I forgot. Yeah, I mean, he's had all these assumptions, and while I do think it's a noble thing to definitely question all your assumptions all the time, it's kind of hard to do all the time, you know? There's a lot of assumptions out there, and a lot of them you just assume are correct about the way things are done, you know? And if it's something, I suppose, which doesn't adversely affect you or other people, then in this case, you know, when you say ignorance is bliss, ignorance is just the easiest way to do it. the tedium of requiring... No, I'm not saying, hold on. Before you take me out of context, it's not saying like, oh, it's fine to be ignorant. It's like, I should say it's understandable to be ignorant, but once you're aware of that ignorance, I feel like becoming a better person because of it. And learning from it is really what you should be striving to doing, if anything. And I don't think that's controversial, because otherwise you get things like, oh, people have like very antiquated, bigoted views, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's fine to be ignorant. No, I mean, like, you were raised that way, perhaps, or something, or you learned that, and then through cognitive bias, it's sort of being reinforced in your mind. But once presented with different information, different opinions, which question your own ideas and that sort of thing, being able to take it on board, process it, and then improve yourself. Like, whether you take those opinions and be like, okay, I don't think it was quite hold up, or be like, oh yeah, you know, that makes sense, you know, I don't think my own... And being able to reflect and be like, I don't think my own opinions can hold up to this, and thus my opinions are wrong, rather than doubling down and being like, oh no, it must be the opinions which are wrong rather than me, that sort of thing, you know? That sort of thing we should always strive to do, to improve. But, you know, to actually get to that stage, you kind of got to be aware of it in the first place, and, you know, that's not always the easiest thing to do, because you're not always constantly aware of it, is basically the point I was trying to get to, you know? Like, there's probably tons of things that I've got the same stupid assumptions that that guy does, you know? Maybe not necessarily about wind turbines, because it's something I've been taught about, but maybe some other things. Like, I think quite a common one for me is word definitions. Where sometimes I'll learn a word definition slightly wrong, because I've never, like, looked up the definition of it. It's just something I've inferred, I suppose, a meaning from the way people say things. Like, notorious, I suppose, is generally a much more negative connotation, but it just still means the same as famous and infamous and that sort of thing, I suppose. But, you know, sometimes, you know, like, I wasn't aware of that notorious can have a negative connotation, depending on the context, you know, that sort of thing. When I learned that, to be fair, that was something I learned quite a while ago, but still, you know, people are always learning. There's going to be things in the future where I'm just like, oh, you know, I mean, hopefully I'll be able to learn and I'll be in an environment where it's not going to negatively impact anyone, but I might have perhaps very ignorant views on certain things, or I should say, because a lot of my views, I do my best to be, I should say, a lot of my opinions are centered around not being non-controversial, I suppose, but more like obviously not wanting the best for people, not wanting not believing in things which I suppose are harmful to others and that sort of thing, which perhaps is unsurprising, because that's honestly quite a common viewpoint, I think, with a lot of people. It's just along the lines of, as long as it's not hurting anyone, it's fine, that sort of thing. But yeah, I might have some really stupid views, not stupid views necessarily, but stupid understanding of things later on in life, or even currently right now, which I'm just not aware of, because it's like things which never cross my mind. Like, I know I don't really think about sports a lot, so I might have completely misunderstood like the rules of football or something like that, or soccer if you're American. Which, you know, a lot of people would be like, duh, how do you not know this? It's like, only your country's most popular sport, and I'm like, yeah, but you know, if I never interface with it, if I never think about it, and I never question it, it's not something I'm aware of. That's even wrong in the first place. And if it's something which is never brought up, like with my reality, oh, I didn't check the Nook terminal yesterday. Oh well. And if it's something which is like never brought up in my reality, then that's just how it happens. And it's not a sense of malicious ignorance, it's just more of like there's a lot of things in the world to learn, and a lot of things which I've probably learned wrong. So yeah, I know it was a whole weird conversation, I suppose, about I didn't mean to get that involved about it, but just like, I don't know, the takeaway is just being open-minded, that sort of thing. Learn to, if you have silly understandings or bad understandings of things, and you know, you eventually find out they're wrong, you know, accept it with an open mind. Be able to laugh about that sort of thing and then move on with your newfound knowledge, you know. Just like that guy in this one aspect of the podcast, and like, for all I know, maybe he's actually a horrible person or something with terribly antiquated views, but you know, I find it hard to believe, because he seems to have demonstrated how well he can learn from and laugh at his own previous silly misunderstandings. Let's sell all of this stuff because we don't need it. I guess we'll keep the furniture and stuff. It's not really that big a deal, but might as well, because what else are we going to be doing? What should we buy? What's this, a smoker? I don't know if we've actually seen one of these before, so we should probably buy it. And we could buy the gramophone as well, like, I don't know, why not? Phonograph, sorry. 53,000, my word. Okay, never mind. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. I was going to buy it just to catalogue it, but still. If I had 53,000 bells burning a hole in my pocket, it's not that much, Raymond. I say, for my very privileged Animal Crossing billionaire lifestyle. I was going to buy something from this, but I don't remember what. It was probably customization kits, because that's what I usually do. Yeah, I don't know. But there was a lot to learn in this world. I know, every time I think of ignorance, I always think about, do you know this was like a, I'm trying to remember exactly, it was like a Mario song, or whatever, whatever, I don't know why I said that so weirdly, whatever, sung by like, Bowser and a load of Goombas. It's called Ignorance is Bliss. It must have been something from like Newsgrounds or something ages ago, but it goes like, Princess Toadstool, I know you're sorry, it's a bit high. I know you're worried. Why don't we change this to what was it before? Gra. Why don't we just change it to rar? Rar. Actually, okay, no. We're gonna do rar. A frustration shout, I suppose. Catchphrase. How's this go? I know you're worried. Something, very, very frightened. Princess Toadstool. Yeah, anyway, it goes like that. The whole reason it's called Ignorance is Bliss is because at the end of, I think like Bowser's like sort of rapping, and he just ends up like, we haven't chatted with our friends apparently in a very long time. If everyone's saying this, it just goes, he just ends every single like chorus with an ignorance is bliss, and except for at the end, it like builds up to him, like you're expecting him to say it, goes like, and he just goes, you know what, I think I've made my point. And it ends. Which I don't know, for some reason that stuck in my mind, a very amusing way to end a song like that. Hello, Jakey. I think we haven't spoken in ages either. He's actually talking about the rain. Oh, it's neat that Rach could visit us. I hope they get to come back soon. I bet they bring snacks too. Yeah, Rach visited my island after giving me a tour of hers. And I was like, man, my island here is so empty. She has so many designs on the ground. I was talking with her about it. I was like, oh, maybe I should start putting designs down. The thing is with designs is I don't like how it doesn't quite hug all the corners, you know? You can very much tell it's a design on the ground, which is a shame. But, you know, I suppose unless better customization options come out in the future for Animal Crossing, that's kind of what you're stuck with. I also destroy those hyacinths for no reason. Hello, Rowan. Oh, apparently we haven't spoken with anyone for ages. Gotta be a better best friend. But yeah, no. Ignorance. I'm sure I'm ignorant about a lot of different things, like, cars, I guess, mechanics and things like that. I don't really know how a car works, and to be honest, it's something I don't technically need to know right now. Oh, definitely need to know it for the future, but currently can't drive. Currently don't own a car, so it's sort of just like yeah, it's, I don't know, hasn't really crossed my mind. And I know things like conceptually, like I know there's an engine, and I know you need to like check your oil sometimes. And I know things as under the hood that you can lift up, and I don't know. I don't really know. I guess you kind of look over, and if you knew stuff about cars, you'd understand what you're looking for. Check engine light. Oh, I do remember back in secondary school we had like a week where it's meant to like prepare you for the real world. It was like, I don't know. They decided that this is the only week. This 1 week in school is where they finally decided to teach you about things like tax and like job interviews and stuff like that. And one of them was, I remember, about car maintenance, because obviously you're going to own cars in the future, presumably, unless you never learn to drive, in which case maybe you do, maybe you won't own a car, but even then you might own a car, just not be able to drive it. Oh wait, maybe you own a car, your partner own a car, and someone you know own a car, and being able to maintain it. And I remember like some university kid came in who really liked cars or whatever, and he talked to us about learning how to maintain a car, except for, of course, you know, we're all kids in school, we all think everything's education is stupid or whatever, and it's like we can't be able to pay attention. So, you know, I do not really remember much from that day about how to maintain a car or anything. But, you know, we're starting to run out of space, you know. Let's start moving things out of storage. Any duplicates we got, that sort of thing. But, you know, I'm just going to learn it when I need to learn it, that sort of thing. I'm not going to be stuck to my ways, thinking up the ways I know, or the assumptions I've made now are really the correct way to go about things for cars or anything, because I suppose I'm aware of my ignorance. Now, I suppose this does go counter to my point of being like, oh, once you're aware of your ignorance, you should probably, you know, like work to overcome it, that sort of thing. Which I think is fair, you know. I think you can call me hypocrite in that aspect, you know. I'd say, yeah, I think you're fair in that regard. It's I suppose it's difficult, you know. It's a balance of everything in life, of trying to work out how to probably get the right balance of learning about things you're ignorant and, you know, finding out about that sort of things, because, you know, you don't always necessarily have time to do that sort of thing. Oh, wait, we should not sell that Blossom Lantern. That was a limited time thing, wasn't it? We should have got more wedding furniture or something, I guess. Yeah. So it's not always the easiest thing to get a good balance of, but if you can strive to, it's always good. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to think of, like, what necessarily you might be ignorant of, just, like, off the top of your head, you know? Like, what... Obviously, this guy wasn't aware that he had an incorrect assumption about wind turbines until it was brought up in conversation, that we were talking about it or whatever. I suppose a lot of those things have to happen... The discovery of those sort of things have to happen naturally through conversation, because you by yourself only probably revisit conceptually only a few different topics, you know, in your everyday sort of cycle, you know, things to do with what you work or study, or things to do with your hobbies, things to do with that's required for you in your everyday life, that's personal to you, you know, maybe medicine, that sort of thing, I don't know. It's quite hard to literally think outside the box in those sort of circumstances sometimes, you know. I'm sure if you sat down and really thought about it, you can think of certain things, but I think it's easier to think about things you have no knowledge on, rather than consider things that you might have the wrong knowledge on, you know? That's like a whole other ballgame, because a lot of the things you've taken for granted as your own knowledge is something which is really cemented in your mind, I suppose. And it's a little bit difficult to, well, maybe it's just difficult for me, maybe everyone else finds it super easy to constantly understand what they're ignorant on, and that sort of thing. And when I say ignorant, not ignorant of absence, ignorant of incorrectness, I don't know how to describe it. We're going to customize these things because we should. It's been a while. It's been a long, long time. Yeah. Because I guess that's just how our brain works, just for maximum efficiency and all that sort of thing. Things you know are just assumed to be correct. You know? And then presumably if the brain's all good and that sort of thing, upon discovering something which is not correct or does not actually fit into your alignment of your worldview, you go, it's wrong, so we need some refactoring here. What should we do? We've got 5 minutes. We can't really decorate. Well, we could, but I don't know what to put down. That's always the harder part. We need to start thinking about things to put down. In this half of a section, we need things, heaven and day related things. That's difficult. And this stuff to be death and grave. Oh, I guess we can harvest our rocks. Why not? Haven't done that for a while, and we'll certainly need it for when we're making a load of gravestones. What's I saying? Yeah, it's hard to. I suppose it's hard because from your perspective already, you've already assumed it to be correct knowledge. So from your perspective, you're sort of looking like a library of books or something, all with the same front cover, and you're going like, one of these is not actually the book with a front cover it's on. It's like, okay, well, I mean, the only way I can check is by opening each and every book and checking if it corresponds to the correct title on the book or not. And it's like, that's kind of hard to do overarching. But then it's easy for someone else to come along and point out this misconception, because they'll be like, have you read Catcher in the Rye? And you're like, yeah, I can't believe Jack and Simon and Piggy, they had such so I don't know, I was trying to make a Lord of the Flies reference. Basically the point I was trying to make is obviously whatever book you thought Catcher in the Rye was actually a different book, and we'd be like, hey, that's not Catcher in the Rye, you're talking about Lord of the Flies. And it's like, I actually had no idea the entire time, which I suppose, from this point, it's rather important to meet all sorts of different people, because everyone, has different opinions in their life. And there's a lot of things in life which different opinions are good, different views on certain things and that sort of thing. Like some things are like non-negotiable, like, human rights, that sort of thing. But and fundamental truths, I suppose, like, I don't know, speed of light. But then some things, you have a lot of different opinions and variations on. Like, I don't know, favourite flavour of ice cream, that sort of thing. Which I suppose this kind of sullied my point, because now we're going on to opinion-based things rather than things based in truths and facts, but still. You get just the basic premise I'm trying to get across is it's good to share your ideas and experiences with others, so you can all benefit from the situation, and, most importantly, not to shame anyone else for not knowing. There's a really good XKCD comic about this sort of thing, which I can't remember, there's a math behind it, where it's like, each day, 10,000 Americans or whatever are learning about something for the first time. Which, honestly, it's probably my favourite XKCD comic. It's a fantastic one, where in the comic is going like, why don't we do like a baking soda volcano or something? And the person goes like, what's a baking soda volcano? It's like, well, today you're one of the lucky 10,000. Come on, let's go to the store. And it's like, that feels good, sort of thing, That's what we should all aspire to in life. To be both a person willing to learn and the person willing to teach. That's what I say. So it's getting very, preachy, isn't it? But anyway, thank you again for the beautiful flower you gave me the other day, Bruce. Oh, we've had this conversation before, haven't we? Oh, no, you don't have to thank me. You've always been good to me, so it's the least I could do. Darling, why did you give me a chrysanthemum as a present? And a green chrysanthemum, no less. See, it's a flower, but it's green. I know you like roses better, or was it daisies? Heck, I can't remember. We can't even get daisies. I just thought this green flower was kind of unexpected, so I figured it'd make a nice gift. Bruce, just because a gift is unexpected doesn't mean it's good. For example, let's say you were hoping to receive a gift of a frozen parfait, but instead you received a gift certificate to a table tennis class. How would you feel? Well, now that you mention it, my doc did say I should be doing some cardio or something or other. For my health and whatnot. Hey, maybe I should sign up for one of them classes. Let's just forget I said anything, Bruce. The flower's perfect, thank you. Should we see what a green chrysanthemum means in flower language? Green chrysanthemum. There's actually 2 variations about flower talk. There's one where she gets a bad flower, and there's one where she gets a flower which symbolises like love or romance or something. Oh, chrysanthemums symbolise death. It can symbolise a lot of things. Hold on. There's a thing I used to do. It was like flower meaning Wikipedia. There's a Wikipedia article on that. Some plant symbolism. Here we go. chrysanthemum. General, fidelity, optimism, joy, and long life. Oh, green's not on here. Strange. Green chrysanthemum, flower, language. Language. I don't know if a green one specifically has a meaning. Doesn't seem like it. It's crazy, all these flower meanings. That's like a conversation in its own right, to be honest. One which I have a surprising amount of random knowledge about. Let's see. Medical benefits of chrysanthemums. Oh, white, red, pink. Is green here? Green. Especially popular in the button variety, green chrysanthemums carry a host of positive meaning. They symbolise rebirth, renewal, good fortune, good health, and youthfulness. Oh, you know, Vivian, I think you're just complaining too much. No, I'm joking. Everyone's got different tastes of that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know, what was I talking about? And whatever. It's been 30 minutes, should we round this episode off here? It's a strange tirade about anything. I didn't even talk about what I did today. I played some Spiritfarer, that's about it. If you've been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, all greatly appreciated. Join the Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. I hope we can see each other again. I don't know what I'm doing. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.